Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina, and it's Sunday night, y'all. It's time for another Sunday night live stream show. Thanks for tuning in and joining us tonight for another episode of the Hubbard's Marina live stream show, Off the Hook with Captain Hubbard. Appreciate y'all tuning in and joining us. We're going to talk a little bit about fishing, give you guys some fishing tips, tricks, and more. We're going to give away over $800 in free fishing trips, and talk a little bit about the weather, show you guys what we're catching now, talk a little bit about what's coming up, and much, much more. Thank you all for tuning in. Also want to give a shout out to some of you guys who are sending stars on Facebook. If you're watching over on YouTube, on Trovo, on Twitch, sending stars is just a way for people who are watching on Facebook to show their support. So really appreciate Tegwin Stockdale, Larry White, Scott Flynn, Richard Blasak, and Stephen Batchelor. Might have missed one or two at the very beginning. Don't really see the stars too well until we get started. Jeremy Knoll, appreciate those 300 stars. Thank you, buddy. Now, also want to give a shout out to our friends over there at Gator Jim's Tackle. Gator Jim's Tackle, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Petersburg. If you haven't been over there to see our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle, make sure you do so. They are great people. They have a huge selection, killer deals. You don't want to miss out on a visit to our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle. Again, that's 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Petersburg. And make sure you tell them Hubbard's Marina sent you. You'll get a free gift if you bring a young angler with you and let them know Hubbard's Marina sent you. Also, want to make sure that we remind you guys, after our main live show, we have our supporters after show. If you want to join us for that, you can become a supporter today. We're going to drop the link into the comments for you. So you can become a supporter. It's only $4.99 a month, less than a cup of coffee a day, and it gives you a month-long access to that private supporters after show. A lot more connectivity through the week, and kind of a great community of people who fish often and want to know more about fishing. So don't miss out on that supporters show and supporters group. It is a great time for sure. Also, don't forget to comment. Let us know where you're watching from. Also, make sure you give the video a thumbs up or a like for us. We really appreciate it. Definitely helps us to reach more people and helps us to spread the word about the live stream show. So make sure you like the video. Don't forget to comment, tell us where you're watching from, and share the video on your favorite fishing group or fishing page or forum. If you're watching on Trovo, Twitch, YouTube, make sure you subscribe. If you're watching over there on Instagram, remember you can pop over to your phone's browser and then find the live stream show on the browser, and you'll be able to turn your phone sideways and see the full screen. If you're watching on the Instagram app, you're only going to see the very middle of the screen, so keep that in mind as well. If you want to win some free trips tonight, we're going to give away over $800 in free trips tonight. If you want a chance to win some of those free trips, you do have to comment at least one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. That's what enters you for a chance to win those free fishing trips. So comment at least one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. So hop over there to facebook.com and find the Hubbard's Marina page, and then comment anything you want at least once, and you're entered to win. Then once you do that, make sure you watch the show live, because if you happen to be picked as the lucky winner, you only got about 5 minutes or less to claim it by texting us your full home address on the screen there. So make sure you comment once, watch the show live, and then make sure you claim it within 5 minutes if you're picked as that lucky winner. So don't miss out on that opportunity for sure, because it would stink to win, be picked as one of the lucky winners, and then not claim it. So make sure you stay tuned for that. All right. Also, want to give out a shout out to some of you guys who have sent stars since the first time we gave a shout out. Tony Barnes, Stephen Batchelor, Richard Fonzo, Eric Seaborg, and then the big ones, Tim Dykes with 600, D. Beers and Rick Rogers, both with 1,000. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate that. Lori Stalnaker Myers as well. Lori Myers, thank you very much. Hopefully everybody is ready for a great show tonight. We're going to get started and show you guys some of the inshore photos, show you guys what we've been seeing inshore. Then we're going to work our way near shore and then work our way offshore and talk a little bit about the weather and then get into your questions. Remember, if you do have a question you want answered live during the show, you got to text it to the phone number on the screen. So with that, let's get into some of these photos and show you guys what we've been catching inshore. This is our buddy Dan the Fishman showing off a good bunch of mackerel caught recently. They were pre-fishing a fishing tournament in the area, catching a ton of big mackerel. The mackerel have been super thick around the mouth of Tampa Bay, the mouth of some of our local passes, and some of those deep water flats, fishing piers, anywhere there's a little bit of deep water, some bait present, those mackerel are really feeding well. So good time to get out there with some flashy, fast-moving lures and target some mackerel for sure. With that as well, we've seen a lot of redfish. The redfish bite has been going pretty well around the area. A lot of those redfish are coming back in from their spawn, starting to get grouped up a little bit more around the flats, mangrove shorelines. We're starting to see some good numbers and good concentrations of those redfish once again. And this is a good time of year to find them in pretty good concentrations. We're going to start seeing those schools of mullet more and more, especially with these cold fronts we have lined up. Those schools of mullet flush out this time of year, and as the big schools of mullet move, the bigger redfish will follow those schools of mullet and pick off the shrimp, the crabs, and the small bait fish that are scared out of the grass flats as those mullet forage over the flats. So great time of year to follow the schools of mullet as those waters cool. Behind these big cold fronts, you'll see big concentrations of mullet and some big redfish chasing them as well. Nighttime, the redfish hang out dock lights, bridge lights, trying to find some bait to ambush as well. During the day, those shallower water flats, those mangrove shorelines, oyster bars become better and better, especially as waters cool. The snook bite still going well around the passes. We still have some people catching snook inside John's Pass, believe it or not, on the dock lights and bridge lights and around the boardwalk and around the jetty. But a lot of those snook have really moved into the back bay, and a majority of fish are pushed up the mouth of the creeks, rivers, bayous, and getting closer and closer to a majority of the biomass moving into the back bays where they can kind of regulate their body temperature. We got some cold fronts this week lined up. We're going to talk more about those here shortly as we get into the weather, but definitely we'll push more snook into the back bay. But you can see here, here's a nice snook that was caught from the boardwalk recently. And there's still a lot of those fish moving around during the day as well. So good time to get out there and still pick up a few last-minute snook before they push into the back bay waters for good, for the winter at least, until spring. We've also seen the trout pick up. The trout bite gets really good this time of year as water temperatures cool. They get up there on the shallow flats. They get a lot more aggressive and feisty and just feed more actively. We also see the sheep's head really start to get more and more common and more concentrated around our local docks, piers, bridges, jetties, the rock piles of Tampa Bay. Is a good time to get out there and get those sheep's head. We're already starting to see more and more sheep's head, and that should only get better and better as water temperatures continue to decrease and those fronts continue to barrage the area. We're also seeing pompano around those clearer, cleaner water pockets like the passes, the jetties, the sandbars, those sandier channels. Good areas to find pompano right now if you can find clean, clear water, which is really difficult to do behind Hurricane Nicole. But water temperature or water clarity should stabilize a little bit this week prior to our weather disturbance, which we're going to show you guys shortly. Before we get into weather, though, let's show you guys the rest of these photos, our nearshore and offshore photos. Nice hogfish from our recent 10-hour all days, the 5-hour half days, the 10-hour all days, all catching nice hogfish right now. Hogfish bites definitely doing very well, and we're excited. In the coming weeks, we should continue to see the hogfish bites stay strong. Offshore and near shore, and even some areas inshore, gag grouper are really biting well. We're doing really well on the gag grouper out deep, on our 39-hour trips, on our 44-hour trip, on our 12-hour extreme trip. We've really been stroking some nice big gags. But even near shore and shallower, 50, 60, 70, 80 foot of water, we're catching nice gag grouper. We're trolling for them in 30, 40, 50 foot of water with those mirror lure 25 plus lipped plugs. We're fishing bait for them a little deeper, 70, 80, 90 foot. And doing really well out deep for the gags, too. So gag grouper bite has been great. Big live baits have been the ticket as of late. This was the big one from our 44-hour full moon trip recently. Some really good numbers of gag grouper. We've seen solid mangrove snapper lately. Some good sized mangrove snapper. Our 39-hour trip that got in this morning, they had, I think it was either 6 or 7 keeper mutton snapper along with the mangrove snapper. So we've been seeing solid mangroves, some big muttons, big yellowtails, big vermilions. Great time to get out there and take advantage of the good snapper bite we're seeing. These red grouper are coming up still, but the red grouper are closed, so we're having to vent or descend them and get them back down quickly. But we are seeing some nice big red grouper, and those will be able to be kept January 1st. When gag grouper close, red grouper will reopen. So we're excited for January. We'll be able to target those red grouper again out there in deep water. And as you can see, we're catching big ones while we try to avoid them. Scamp grouper, these guys right here are beautiful fish. They're extremely good eating, one of my favorite eating fish. And we're catching them in good numbers right now, pretty good concentrations out there in deeper water. And they're open all year round, so always nice. The triggerfish are still open. They open March 1st every year, and then they close at the end of May for their June and July spawning closure. And then they reopen August 1st, and they've typically closed again like August, September, October. This is the first time in a very long time that we've had triggerfish go seemingly all the way through the year. It's not over yet, but potentially we'll have a triggerfish season continue through the end of the year, which would be crazy. Nice big wahoo. Denoris Hall, our buddy from Alabama, caught a nice big wahoo on that recent 44-hour full moon trip, trolling a Nomad DTX minnow. We've also been seeing a lot of blackfin tuna lately, kingfish as well. The 39-hour that got back in today just absolutely stomped the blackfin tuna. It was crazy how many blackfin tuna they caught on that 39-hour trip. Like more than 20. I want to say it was close to 24. A really good catch of blackfin tuna lately. So lots of pelagic action around. We have launched our toy drive. Our toy drive is going on now. That started November 2nd and goes until end of day, December 15th. You can bring in a new toy, new unwrapped toy, and get 25% off the trip fare. So if you come in for a 5-hour half day, 10-hour all day, dolphin tour, sunset cruise, even a 3-hour shell key shelling trip, you get 25% off trip fare by showing up with a toy. So stop by, see us, take advantage of that discount, or just stop by and drop off a toy. Or stop by and drop off a toy, and we'll give you a coupon you can give to someone else for the 25% off trip fare. Again, that runs until December 15th. We want to fill some big boxes. We've got some really large boxes for our toy drive, and we're hoping to fill them up. So stop on by and see us for the toy drive before December 15th. Also, don't forget, Final Friday, this coming Final Friday, the final Friday of the month. Every Final Friday, the city of Madeira Beach and Johns Pass and all the businesses are getting together and throwing a big, huge Final Friday party. And this Final Friday, we're going to have a crawfish boil. We're going to have free beer. We're going to have soda, water, all free. And we're going to be doing crazy deals in our shop. Lots of Black Friday specials. And the toy drive is going on too. So come out and see us for our final Friday, Black Friday toy drive celebration, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Friday, November 25th. And while on the subject of events and upcoming cool things you can attend, don't forget to join us for our Fishing for Hope event. That is November 19th. November 19th at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're going to be out there at Metropolitan Ministries at North Rome Ave in Tampa, collecting turkeys, non-perishable food items, canned good items from 9 a.m. to noon. Again, North Rome Avenue in Tampa. I'm going to drop the Facebook event link into the Facebook chat there. Definitely check that one out. And then also, November 20th, the very next day, so November 19th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Holiday Tent, Metropolitan Ministries, North Rome Ave in Tampa for the food drive. November 20th, the next day, at 2 p.m., we'll be over there at Bass Pro Shops doing our Bass Pro Shops fishing conversation. Excuse me. Man, a little under the weather, fighting it right now, but apologize for that. But like I said, November 19th, food drive, November 20th, Bass Pro Shops, 2 p.m. November 25th, we've got that final Friday event, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Hopefully we'll see you there for all three of those events, and hopefully you'll come out and join us sometime soon here at Hubbard's Marina. With that, it's time to give away our first free trip of the night. Let's give away our 10-hour all-day trip for two guests. 10-hour all-day trip for two guests. Let's see who is the lucky winner of that 10-hour all-day trip for two guests. Lucky winner is Mike Hart from Apollo Beach. Congratulations, Mike. That's ironic because he comes and joins us for our Fishing for Hope event. Him and his beautiful better half came and volunteered with us last year, and they volunteered again this year. So I'll see you November 19th, Mike Hart, for that Fishing for Hope event. And congratulations on the win. Remember, you got 5 minutes or less to claim your free trip by texting us your full home address on the screen if you're picked as one of those lucky winners. All right, so with that, let's get into the weather. Show you guys a little bit about what's going on weather-wise right now. So we're going to pop over to our website, hubbardsmarina.com, and then we're going to click Fishing Trips, scroll down to Weather Links. On our Weather Links page, we're going to go to the Wind Finder forecast, which is the left side, top left side. We're going to start in our inshore area first. So this is our inshore report. You can kind of see from the graph quickly. We had a cold front move by today. It's still going to be bumpy tomorrow. It's going to calm down Tuesday and be pretty nice Tuesday and Wednesday. Definitely the two best days to get out in the water this week are going to be Tuesday and Wednesday. So I would shoot to get out in the water Tuesday and Wednesday if at all possible. Hardened down front scheduled Thursday. And that's going to last into Friday. Going to really pick up the sea conditions and the winds. Then we get a hard high pressure settling in, making the weekend pretty rough with that easterly flow. Means we'll be able to get out near shore probably, but going to be bumpy offshore. So definitely a little tricky weather-wise after Tuesday, Wednesday this week. Tomorrow's not bad, but it's not good either. Our party boat trip is canceled tomorrow, so we don't have any fishing trips going tomorrow due to that weather, and then also the Coast Guard are really making us jump through some hoops to make sure we are as safe as possible for you guys. So we are doing everything we can to get past that issue and this weather and be ready to rock and roll Tuesday and Wednesday before weather goes bad for seemingly a long time. But there's always little weather windows that open up. So I'm not too depressed yet because a lot of this will change quite frequently. So just keeping an eye on it. But it does look like starting Wednesday night for 6 days, weather looks a little junky for us. So we're hoping we don't get 6 straight days of 20-mile-an-hour plus winds, but that's what's in the forecast right now. So if I was you, I would get out there on the water Tuesday or Wednesday. It looks like Tuesday is the best day. This is the offshore report now. Tuesday is definitely the better day. Wednesday, they're showing the offshore report for us to already see the wind start switching out of the north. That front might be coming through Wednesday, according to this really far offshore buoy. So the inshore buoy didn't show that wind switching until Thursday out of the north. So it's a little interesting. You always see a little difference in the weather pattern when you go a little bit further from shore because those buoys will see the weather quicker. Now, we're going to pop over here to our Mike's weather page, the ultimate storm forecast page here real quick. We do have Captain Mike Anderson on the line, so we're going to get to him in just a second. But want to show you guys real quick on Mike's weather page. Does a lot more than just tropical weather. We use it for everything. You can see here, this is the forecast today. This is that cold front that moved through today. That frontal boundary that brought us a little bit of rain this morning, that was a cold front. That's why it's a little drier tonight, a little chillier. That front's going to move by us. This is tomorrow's forecast. You can see that front pushes past us. And then as that front pushes past us, the next front's pushing down. That high pressure's battling it. And we have a big area. That solid green is a higher chance for weather, rain in particular. This dotted green is an extremely high chance of weather. So this is day after tomorrow. This is Tuesday. Tuesday's looking real good because that front's going to be approaching. That frontal boundary is going to be pushing down, but it's not going to make it to us yet. And then you can see here as we get into Wednesday, boom, that front is on us. And you can see offshore, that front is already there. So inshore Wednesday is still good. Nearshore Wednesday is still good. But offshore Tuesday or Wednesday will already be in that cold front. Thursday, the cold front moves by us. And bam, right behind the cold front is a high pressure. Right behind it is another cold front. So really tight pressure radiuses and a lot of pressure gradient, and that's what's going to keep that wind forecast really high over the period. So get out and get on the water if you can Tuesday or Wednesday, because those are the days to capitalize on that nice little weather window before it starts blowing and seemingly doesn't stop. So take advantage of the weather window. On that note, what's up, Capt Mike? How are you tonight, bud?
While I was listening to you, I made a decision.
Yeah. What's
if
that?
I'm going to continue to call in on Sunday nights, I'm going to need you to deliver a little more bright and sunny outlook.
Okay? I wish I could.
If you're just going to talk about wind, then I'm not calling anymore. Okay? I need you to be a little more positive, brother.
Well, how about this for positivity? How about the Green Bay Packers pulling one out today, man?
Yeah, I'm not sure who that was on the field. I wish they'd have played like that the last 3 or 4 weeks. They wouldn't be out of the hunt. You know, they actually played with a little heart today and made some plays. And
it seemingly that new young receiver got into his groove, and the whole rest of the team kind of followed along. It was cool.
Well, he even dropped some balls early in the game today, but he made some big plays today. I'll tell you this too. You know, Rodgers was accurate. Aaron hasn't been as accurate as he normally is, and some of that might have to do with the wide receivers not being exactly where he thinks they're supposed to be. You know, because he's got so many young guys there. But it was fun. It was a good game, and I watched the Bills game before that. Man, the Bills game was great. Bills
oh my goodness,
was a great game too. Yeah. Some really good football on today. So that's a bonus. We did have a tragedy. I want to make sure we mention the family dog. We lost Izzy today.
Oh, man.
Beloved pooch of 14 years, who we've had since she was a puppy. went on to the pearly gates today, so that was a little painful, but it was good to have some football and good to be on the phone with you. And tomorrow we'll hopefully get back on the water here, and hopefully we can enjoy a little bit of weather before these cold fronts start to bear down on us. November is one of those months, where they can stack up pretty quick. So
yeah, I mean,
that time of year,
November through virtually April, it's kind of hit or miss. We'll get a good run of weather, and then we'll have a couple bad runs of weather. So we got to take advantage of those weather windows. This time of year, it's those cold fronts, and then as we get into spring, it's just that wind that just seemingly doesn't stop. I know last year we had a really windy spring, but we had a gorgeous, absolutely spectacular December last year. You were complaining it was too hot.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So who knows?
And I'll do the same. If it's hot again this December, I'll complain about the same thing.
I know. So, I can always count on you.
It's all good. You know what's weird is I was thinking about it, as I was getting ready to call in tonight. I wish I knew what to tell you or to tell your listeners about what to expect.
Yeah.
But I was in the woods for a couple of days, and then I came home, and then we had Hurricane Nicole come through. So I haven't been on the water. And even in talking with my guys, a lot of guys haven't been on the water because it's been windy.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to be starting back to fishing tomorrow. And nobody really knows what to expect. How clean's the water? How dirty's the water?
It's not good.
What's the water temp? Yeah, I mean, it's
the water in Johns Pass is the color of beach sand. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We got about 4 inches of visibility, if that. It's crazy.
And that makes it tough. I was going to spend some time. My people actually canceled for tomorrow, but I'm going to splash the boat and go look around. But I'm not real optimistic on what I'm going to be able to see from the tower boat because, I think it's still going to be turned up. It's still going to be a little dirty, and it's probably going to be a couple of days. And then, by the time it does start to clear up, we may have some more wind. So it's just one of those challenges this time of year.
Yep, it's that sheep's head on the dock line with some shrimp time of year for sure. And we've seen the sheep's head really start to pick up.
You know what else I like to do? And it was good that we saw them before the blow. The speckled trout bite picked up.
Yeah, true.
And that's a normal thing to happen as we roll into November. Those fish will start to come in from offshore, from in the passes and from the deeper water and start to get on the flats. And they did that. And I love to throw artificials, just cover water with plastic, paddleton, mirror lure, marshmallow juniors, a great bait for just searching out, big speckled trout on the drop offs and, 4 to 6 foot of water this time of year. So, I'm looking forward to that. The low visibility could be a little bit of a hindrance, but as they were really, really stacked up before the blow, I'm hoping that we can find them stacked up again this week and still catch them.
Yeah, the trout, the sheep's head, also the pompano, but it's hard to find pompano when the water's murky.
It is. And pompano are a pain in the keister anyway. They're like locusts. It seems like they come in and they feed real heavy in an area and then they'll just move. That's a frustrating fish for me. I've caught a lot of them in my career.
Yeah.
But it's two things. One, it's hard to stay on top of them because they move a lot, and two, it's hard to do with customers.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're throwing, the Doc's Goofy Jigs types of baits or the Bubba's Jigs types of baits. It's just hard to
teach the technique.
It's hard to get. It is. It's hard to get customers to be patient enough to let that jig hit the bottom and really bounce it on there and really kind of attract those pompanos. So.
True.
But it's a great fish to go after, and you're right. With dirty water, that'll be another tough target.
Finding the pockets of clean water, that'll be the trick over the next 2 days, and taking advantage of the weather window while we got it. But also the snook. I mean, the snook have been really, really surprisingly active still in the passes. But a lot of those fish push up into the rivers, and they don't really get bothered by the nastier water quality, stirred up condition. But I don't know, river fishing's not something I do a lot, but I know the mouths of the rivers get seemingly choked with snook. I mean, around Tampa Bay, you see that in those little estuaries too, right? Those little bays like Cockroach and stuff like that. And
yeah, Cockroach Bay is really, really good right now. There's a lot of fish around the mouth of the Alafai River, the Palm River, the Hillsborough River's going off right now. I got really good reports down around Bishop's Harbor already. Some guys that were on the water today said that bite was pretty solid. So those fish are in full-blown transition, to their true. I wouldn't call them fall spots. I would almost call them late fall spots.
Yeah.
As they're staging by the mouths of the river, ready to make that one final push and go up the river towards the springs. But I again, doing my homework today just to see who had been out, what they've seen, what they heard. Everybody said the same thing, that snook bite around the river, Cockroach Bay, Weeden Island's holding some fish. There's still some fish up around Double Branch, Double Bayou, all those areas that haven't pushed all the way back in the back yet.
Yeah.
So there's some good snook action to be had for sure.
Nice. All right, man. Well, we appreciate the update, and hopefully you'll find them tomorrow in that tower boat, searching around.
We'll see. Yeah, we're going to go look and, again, my people canceled. I kind of boogered up my schedule a little bit, thought I had a trip, and now I don't. So I'm going to do what I highly recommend people do when you had a day that you were, supposed to be on the water. Even sometimes when the weather's not great, just get in the boat and go look around. I may take a rod or two with me, but I probably won't even touch them. I'm just going to go try to, find the schools of mullet, find the jacks, but just find some fish. Just go looking, pay attention, where's that clean water, like you said, trying to find those pockets so that I have something to go chase the rest of the week. So that'll be the game plan for tomorrow.
Well, enjoy, man. I'm supposed to be on a boat tomorrow. I'm hoping I can pull it out. I don't feel the greatest right now, but I'm supposed to be offshore, and hopefully the weather and my body will allow, and we're going to be chasing around some release mortality symposium fun. Yeah, we're doing a bunch of catch and release videos and how to use a descending device to mitigate barotrauma. It's going to be super fun.
Well, I hope you feel better, bro, and remind everybody that we will be at Metropolitan Ministries next Saturday morning.
Yes, sir.
From 9 to 1 for Fishing for Hope. Captain Bill Miller, Glenn Pla, yourself. I got word from Mike Mahoney today that Mike Mahoney will be there. Big Ben Marshall's not going to make it. His deer hunting trip got a little funky in his schedule, so he's going to be still in Missouri, just getting back on Sunday. So he won't be there, on Saturday, so he won't be able to join us, but Mahoney's going to take his place. So we'll have the legend there, and some other great people will be there to help us as well. So make sure Metropolitan Ministries is really, really running low on supplies for this year. And there's nothing that breaks my heart more than to think of, kids waking up on Thanksgiving morning and not having that opportunity to have that, Thanksgiving meal with their family. So it's a great opportunity for the fishing community to come together and help us out. Metropolitan Ministries at the Holiday Tent, which is on North Rome Avenue. I'm going to be sending a flyer out in my social media. You'll have it as well because I'm going to send it to you as well. So we'll have the flyer out there. It's got the address, got the hours, all the information on there. Tells you what you can bring us, frozen turkeys and hams and all that stuff. Just come on out and see us. It's a great opportunity for the fishing community to come together and help those less fortunate for the holidays.
Yes, sir. I mean, it's not amateur hour, dog. I already plugged it, but the second one can't hurt.
Yeah.
And speaking of
want to be here to help.
Speaking of hunting, you went hunting this last week, didn't you?
I did.
Did you get a deer? Did you get some sausage?
No, I did not get sausage yet, but I will.
All right.
You'll get some.
Just double checking.
You'll get a little bit, buddy. I won't leave you hanging. I got you. Just for the record, I did invite you. You have been invited. The listeners should know that I did invite you to a hunt. You weren't able to pull it off.
You're too busy to go hunting. You're just too busy, right?
That's a fact. That's a fact. I appreciate the time, my brother.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in. You have a good night.
All right, partner. You too. Get to feeling better.
Thanks, man. See you.
All right, buddy. See you.
Too busy to go hunting. You're just too busy. It's a good one. It's a good motto. Someone should use that. Trademark. TM. All right, so with that, let's give away another free trip, and then we're going to get into a little bit more of your questions. Hopefully you have some questions. Hopefully you're texting them into the phone number on the screen. So let's see who won. We gave away our 10-hour all day. Let's do our Salinity Gear gift pack before we do our 5-hour half day. So Salinity Gear gift pack. Remember, you got to tell us your shirt size and whether you want it hooded. William Solner, congratulations from Lockport, New York. William, what's up, buddy? You got the Salinity Gear gift pack. Make sure you text us your full home address and whether you want a hood or no hood on your long sleeve performance shirt. Let's see here. It's time to get into some questions. Hopefully you guys... excuse me. Hopefully you guys have some questions for us. Let's see what our first question of the night is tonight. We are pulling them up. As we pull them up, again, guys, don't forget to join us on November 25th for Final Friday, November 20th for Bass Pro, and as Mike reminded you again, November 19th for Fishing for Hope. All right, Bruce said, why is the water in Johns Pass so churned up? The water in Johns Pass is so churned up because of Hurricane Nicole. Hurricane Nicole did a number on our coastline. A lot of rain. So when rainwater happens, fresh water gets injected into our estuarine environment. As that water outflows, the water outflows and fresh water mixes with salt water, we get a brackish water effect. And it also pushes a lot of that brown, tannin-rich fresh water out of the bayous. So we get a really bad mixing of fresh water, salt water. We get this brackish, dirty water. Plus, we get a lot of that brown bayou river water pushed out along the coastline. Plus, we had 80 mile an hour, 70 mile an hour winds whipping a ton of sand into the water and a lot of big waves churning up the sand, churning up the bay. So you get a lot of turbidity. It's kind of like when you're mixing your drink together. Let's say you got some Ovaltine, some Nesquik, some Metamucil, whatever powder you put in a glass and you're stirring up. It's the same idea when you get a really rough weather condition on the beach. It stirs up the sand and suspends it in the water. Then after a few days, just like if you put some really hard to mix powder in a glass and you stir it up real well, it suspends in that glass. But if you take the spoon out and sit it on the counter and forget it for 10 minutes, when you come back, all that stuff is settled out of the water and it's at the bottom of the glass. It's the same idea. When we get really rough weather on the beach, it suspends a bunch of sand in the water, makes the water really dirty. Give it a few days, the water calms down. And then after the water calms down, it finally clears back up. Same idea. Don Voigt, Craig Robinson, Jeremy Knoll, Tim McCardle. Appreciate those stars, folks. And of course, Philip Cavanaugh with a big 830 stars. Thank you guys for sending some stars. Oh, what are your thoughts on Lane Snapper? An unknown number sent me this. I feel like this is someone trying to poke the bear because I feel like I haven't been too shy at describing my feelings about Lane Snapper, because my thoughts on Lane Snapper are this. It stinks that Lane Snapper closed, but what stinks more is the exuberant, and overflowing lack of education, willingness to be educated, and just overall ignorance on how the fishery works, how fisheries science works, how fisheries management works. I feel like I've done the same video on Facebook like 37,000 times about, hey, when a fishery closes because it's a quota closure, meaning the quota is projected to be met, in most situations, you got to view that as a good thing, right? That means the fishery is so healthy The fishing is so good, we're catching so many fish that they're projecting we're going to overfish our quota. So in order to be conservative and good stewards and conservationists, we have to stop fishing for a little while, 6 weeks. So yes, lane snapper closing early sucks. It shouldn't. It's a healthy fishery. But it's 6 weeks of missing lane snapper, and it's going to make the extremely healthy fishery stay extremely healthy. What we need to do is we need to make the minimum size limit a little bigger on lane snapper. Right now it's 8 inches. There's no reason you should keep an 8-inch lane snapper. You get like a potato chip fillet off an 8-inch lane snapper. Should be at least 10 inches, really 12 inches is my opinion. That way we slow down the catch rate a little bit. As we increase that minimum size limit, the catch rate goes down a little bit, and then we'll have a longer season. And we need to push for an interim analysis, and they need to do another update assessment. They need to account for the spatial expansion of the biomass, meaning the population of lane snapper is expanded in area in which they live and eat and feed and breed. Normally, when I was younger, lane snapper were typically caught 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 foot. We didn't see a ton of them. We saw a few here and there, but not a ton. Now, lane snapper are being caught at the dock of pretty good size, and we catch them as deep as 120 foot. So more lane snapper in more areas and in wider depth ranges means spatial expansion, area expansion, and the average size of lane snapper is exponentially increased. So let's say you have a quota of 100 pounds for easy math, because let's call it 10 pounds. It's easy math. And normally you're catching half pound or 1 pound lane snapper. Now we're seeing lane snapper that are 18, 20, 22 inch, 24 inch lane snapper, monsters. Some are 2+ pounds. So all of a sudden you go from catching a half pound fish and filling up a 10 pound quota in a certain amount of time. Now we're catching 2 pound fish. Is it any surprise that that quota gets filled up faster? No. You catch more fish more quickly, larger size. So why are we upset and freaking out that lane snapper are closed? We should be celebrating, folks. It's a healthy fishery that's expanded spatially and expanded in average size. We're catching bigger fish in more areas more often. So stop freaking out. Let's update the minimum size limit. Let's update the catch levels, and let's keep catching them and enjoy a healthy fishery. What we should freak out about is when we can't catch the fish. Cobia, king mackerel, amberjack. Those fisheries, we're not filling the quota. The quota's not being filled. They're not closing it down early because we caught too many fish. We can't even fill half the quota because we can't find the fish. That's what we need to freak out about, folks. That's what you need to focus on. Louis Canaveri, appreciate those stars, buddy. Thank you very much. So that's how I feel about lane snapper in a very mild, very friendly way. What is the least amount of people needed for a 10-hour fishing trip? We'll go out there with, we've recently done a 10-hour with 14 people. I would like to have 18, 20. 25 is a good number, but we can go out with a very few amount of people. We have been blessed in the last recent history to where we really don't have to necessarily worry about it. As long as the weather is good, we've been having at least 20, 25, 30 people go. So don't worry about the 10-hour trips. As long as the weather is decent, they'll fill up. Don't worry. Do you plan on scheduling additional slow pitch jigging trips next year? Yes. We'll have more slow pitch jigging trips next year. December 1st at 11 a.m. is when our 2023 schedule will be released. And the 2023 schedule is bookable December 1st at 11 a.m. You can call us. You can book online. You can stop by in person December 1st at 11 a.m. Going on Tuesday's 39-hour trip, should I bring my own pool noodle, or is the stern rail already padded? I know him, and I know he's just messing with me. But no, you have to bring your own pool noodles. We do not have padding for your delicate sensibilities on our fishing vessels. You can bring your own pool noodles if you would like, but no, we do not have padding on the railing on the aluminum vessel. People bring pool noodles, and it is helpful in some aspects. People like putting their leaders in them, their pre-made rigs, and that's a good place to hide your hooks, I guess. Me personally, I don't like them. They get in my way. They get wet. They get slippery. They're squeaky. I mean, you have foam on your rod and reel for a reason. As long as you're using it properly and you have a conventional rod, you really don't need the pool noodle. But some people like it. Some people are using it. Whatever. Need more pool noodles. See, some people like the pool noodles, but yeah, Stephen Miller's got me down pat. I don't love watching football, and I don't like pool noodles. Let's see. How is Tuesday looking for a 10-hour trip? Tuesday, we've got currently 32 people on the 10-hour all day, and weather looks spectacular. I think it was like 1.5 foot. 10 to 15, 1.5 foot or less. So 10 to 13, 1.5 foot or less. So Tuesday looks great. Nice kind of medium load and great weather. What can we expect to catch on an all-day fishing trip in the month of December? 10-hour all-day in December is going to be focused on hogfish with gag grouper as a side and no lane snapper, unfortunately. But a hogfish, gag grouper, mangrove snapper, vermilion snapper, porgies, gray snapper, white grunts, and maybe some other options as well. But definitely hogfish would be the premium kind of title sponsor that we're going after. Kind of our key goal that we would be targeting on a 10-hour all day. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? I think you just answered my question. Well, that's good. We answer your question before getting to it. There. All right, so this is about the toy drive. My husband and son are coming from North Georgia for a 12-hour after Thanksgiving. They are using gift certificates. If they bring an unwrapped toy, can they still get 25% credit for their next trip? So how the toy drive works is November 2nd through December 15th. You can get 25% off a trip fare. November 2nd through December 15th. So if you're coming on a trip during that time frame, you can get 25% off if you bring a new unwrapped toy. Normally, we were just going to do a toy drive without any incentive, and I was like, let's give a discount to try to encourage more people to come out at a time of year we're typically less busy and kind of make it, hopefully, collect more toys. And it kind of flopped because in years past, we never offered a discount. We just kind of advertised we did a toy drive. We got a bunch of toys. We've been doing this toy drive now since the beginning of November and literally just got our first bag of toys dropped off today. Kind of sad. So I feel like offering the discount kind of confused people maybe. I don't know. In years past, we didn't offer a discount on our trips and we got more toys. So I'm hoping everybody's just holding out on me and you're all going to show up next week with a bunch of toys. Maybe it was Hurricane Nicole that kind of messed everything up. I'm not quite sure, but hopefully it wasn't our marketing tactics to try to attract more people to the toy drive that ended up just confusing people. I don't know, but yes, the discount is only for trips during that time frame, November 2nd to December 15th. But you do get 25% off trip fare in addition to helping the local area out, helping our community out. So our red drum, a.k.a. redfish, still active and biting well. Yes, if you missed the beginning of the show, we kind of go over the photos of what we're catching and talk a little bit about them. We talked about how the redfish are pretty active right now, and Capt Mike talked about the same thing I talked about, which is always very validating to know that I'm on the right track with inshore fishing, but he mentioned it, and I thought so as well. This time of year, it's going to be all about them mullet. Finding those schools of mullet, the redfish will be following the mullet inshore. If you don't have a boat, if you're wade fishing, if you're dock line fishing, seawall fishing, fishing the passes around docks during the middle of the day with shrimp on the bottom is a good way to target the redfish as well. Dock lights at night is a good way as well. I'm going on the 5-hour Tuesday, the 15th, and the 39-hour. Will the live wells stay on after the 5-hour? So if you go on a Tuesday or a Sunday 39-hour trip, it's the same boat, and yes, the live wells do stay on as long as you let the crew know. If you don't mention anything to the crew and you put a bunch of live bait and a random live well on the side of the boat, then a lot of times they will shut them off to do maintenance and clean out the pumps and stuff like that. But if you mentioned it to the crew and the crew know about it, they won't shut off the live wells on you, or if they do, it'll just be for a brief period to kind of clean out the basket or something like that. But yes, we do have a lot of people who do our half-day trips before 39 hours to catch live bait. On Fridays, it's a different boat, so the boat would come back in from the half-day trip. You would unload your live bait and bring it to the other boat, and that's how it would work on a Friday. It's not the same boat on a Friday. Hey, Dylan, love your stuff. Thank you very much. At what water temperature do gags begin to move inshore? They start to move inshore this time of year. This really has a lot to do more with length of day, cold fronts, kind of the water temperature has a lot to do with it too, but there's no like, this is the temperature of the water in which gag grouper move inshore. It's kind of time of year, length of day, water temperature, cold fronts, kind of all mixed together to kind of drive those gag grouper moving. But they've already started to move. It's not totally all out yet, but they're on the way for sure. And a lot of people are catching them in the bay already. Captain John Blinker with 5 o'clock Charlie Charters in Tampa Bay is crushing them. A lot of our Florida Guides Association inshore charter captains are crushing them. Trolling lures in Tampa Bay. The Hub, our private charter boat's been catching keeper gags, trolling the Miro lure, 25 plus trolling, lipped trolling plugs in the mouth of Tampa Bay around the Skyway, the shipping channel, all the way out to about 50, 60 foot of water. So a lot of gags in Tampa Bay right now. And more are coming. More are on the way for sure. Would there be a difference between them being at the Skyway and being further up in the bay? I don't know, because that's not really my specialty. I've personally never fished north of the Skyway Bridge before, ever, by boat. So not really my foreground or forte. And I don't fish around the Skyway. I think I've fished around the Skyway maybe a handful of times. I normally head west, but from what I've heard and from what I know all the way up through G-Cut to Port Manatee, those gags swim that channel. Port of Tampa, the Egmont Key shipping channel, a lot of gag groupers swim that wall. You got to remember the bay in some areas are 8 foot deep, but they cut a 40 foot, 50 foot channel into the limestone bottom. So they created a 40, 50 foot artificial wall ledge in the limestone, and the gags love it. So all the way to Port Manatee, all the way from Port Manatee out the Egmont Key shipping channel, those gags are going to cruise that wall. And there's a lot of little rock piles on the edges that are going to hold gag grouper as well. So plenty of fish throughout that area. Let's give away, we did our 10-hour all day, our Salinity Gear gift pack. Let's give away our 5-hour half day for 2 guests, and we're going to answer 1 or 2 more questions, and then we're going to have to wrap this show up. So 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Lucky winner is Stephen Batchelor. What's up, man? Him and his friends just got off a 39-hour private fishing charter with us aboard the Florida Fisherman. They crushed it. They came out and did a Sunday 39-hour private charter right behind Hurricane Nicole and absolutely murdered it. Was it right behind or right before? Man, my brain is a little bit mushed because of not feeling well lately, but it was really close to Hurricane Nicole. It must have been right after it, right? I don't know. Josh isn't answering me.
I didn't know you were. I'm at the at the studio. I'm not at the Marina, so I wouldn't know.
When was Hurricane Nicole? That was this past week, right?
Yeah, it was this past week.
Like what? That was Tuesday.
Thursday?
Yeah. So it was right before. Right before. Man, I'm losing it, guys. It's been a long day. All right, so let's see. How is the little fishing buddy? Good. My son Jack is 3 years old now, and he's talking up a storm. He's hilarious. My wife was making him brush his teeth and get dressed for bed, and he stops. He looks at her and he says, "Mama, you're a little rascal." Yeah, so funny. He's just a hoot. All right. Let's see here. What other questions do we have? How many fish can a fisherman fish for if a fisherman could fish for fish? That was a tongue twister. Is this the guy who always asks us how are baby fish born?
Yeah.
Yeah, where did baby fish come from? Yeah.
A fisherman can fish for as many fish as a fisherman can catch by any fishy fisherman.
Yeah. Solid. He got me. I read it. Will your sand issues be easier to handle? No. They've only gotten more and more difficult, and Hurricane Nicole really made it bad. And 3 nights in a row, we had a team of guys working really, really hard to make it possible. The friendly fisherman was hard aground. Our port motor wouldn't start because we got sanded in. But we dug her out, and everything was good to go. We used to target and catch blackfin tuna at night when the shrimp boats would work the bottom 90 to 110 foot of water off Longboat Pass. We would typically catch 30 plus in a night. Since fuel went up in in 08, shrimp boats stopped traveling here. There would be a half dozen some nights. Any ideas how to target blackfin tuna with reasonable success with no shrimp boats to bring them together? The shrimp boats definitely made it easy. I remember that when I was a young guy working on the charter boats. Whenever we'd leave in the morning, 4:30, 5 a.m., you'd leave and there'd be at least a half dozen shrimp boats on the horizon. Nowadays, you just don't see that. There's not a lot of shrimp boats out there anymore, and the ones that are out there are in different areas. And it's tougher. It's tougher. They don't congregate them. But like, for example, on this 39-hour trip that I got back this morning, there was a lot of blackfin tuna around. We threw out a couple handfuls of cut thread fins, and they were just up on the surface. They congregated themselves on the boat. So definitely really, really easy to get them congregated. When you're offshore fishing, you got a bunch of bait in the water, a good chum slick going, they'll congregate well. So it depends on where you're fishing, what time of year. This is the time of year, though, when water temps get cooler, that we see more of those blackfin tuna around. And you get anchored up and fish a spot for a while. You get a good natural chum slick going. They'll come to you. So it's a good idea to have a flat line out. And once you catch one, there's generally more around. So throwing out a few handfuls of cut up thread fin, even cut up shrimp, or just hang a chum bag, you'll have a good opportunity to try to chum up those tuna. But once you find them, then you can congregate them with chum. But finding them is a little bit tricky sometimes without shrimp boats to artificially chum them up for you. So look for temperature gradients. That's the trick. Temperature gradients, structure holding bait. That's what you're looking for offshore. Can you troll effectively for blackfin? Yes, you can. Blackfin tuna, love the Rapala X-Wrap, the Nomad DTX trolling lures, the Rapala X-Wrap Magnum 30s and 40s. Redhead white body is a great tuna bait. The darker colors, the dark black, silver body. We catch them a lot on the dark purple, black body. A lot of good options out there for those blackfin tuna. The lipped plugs are a good option. I think that's about all we have time for, unfortunately. Remember, if you're a supporter, you can join us for our supporters after show on our supporters group. We'll drop that link in the chat for you guys. Remember, it's only $4.99 a month. You get access to the private supporters group, the private supporters after show, and a lot of kind of one-on-one communication and access to a great group of good people. And December 17th, our supporters Christmas party and regulars club party. We're combining the two. We're actually ordering new supporters shirts and new regulars club shirts today. We've got our 2023 calendars in. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming. Plus, we ordered Off the Hook shirts. So this great logo right here will be on a Hubbard's Marina t-shirt coming to a store near you very soon. And an online store near you very soon, too. So check it out. We got lots of great stuff coming for the holidays. We always have gift certificates if you want to purchase those. We got lots of rods, reels, tackle, and more. So stop by our shop. Come out and join us November 19th for the Fishing for Hope event, the food drive. Join us for our toy drive in the office. Join us November 20th, 2 p.m. at Bass Pro Shops. Or November 25th, final Friday. Be there, be square. We got a crawfish boil, free beer, free drinks. Going to be a good time. Josh pulled up our Off the Hook shirt. Here it is. This is a brand new t-shirt design coming to Hubbard's Marina to promote our live stream show and other good stuff like that. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. We got some other new cool shirts coming too. We're revamping our supporters shirt. We'll have more of those for those in our supporters group. And we hope you all enjoyed the show. Remember, the show is every Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. right here on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, Trovo, and Twitch pages. And it's always a great time. So I appreciate you all hanging out and joining us. I apologize that I was a little off my game tonight, but hopefully it still came out well. And we hope to see you out in the water sometime soon and for all these great events we have coming up as well. With that, it's time to give away our... Oh, wait. Before we do that, don't forget to check us out on TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Facebook, Nextdoor app, Fishbrain, Waypoint TV, Trovo, and Twitch. Check out all our social medias, guys. Give us a follow. Make sure you check out our TikTok, too. It's really awesome. We do daily live updates on TikTok. It's a lot of fun. So join us on TikTok. Also, give a shout out and check out our sponsors and partners over at the Real Animals Fishing Show, Garmin Electronics, Yamaha Outboards, Bass Pro Shops, Engel Coolers, Salt Strong, Aquatic Nutrition Sport Fishing Chums. And don't forget, the show was brought to you by our good friends over there at Gator Jim's Tackle, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Petersburg. Check them out, Gator Jim's Tackle. This show is brought to you by, made possible by, our good friends over at Gator Jim's, and those of you who sent stars tonight, and especially our supporters in our private supporters group. So thank you all for watching. Let's find out who won our 39-hour fishing trip for one guest. 39-hour for one. Chuck Landsteiner. Chance Landsteiner. Chase. Third time's a charm. Chase Landsteiner. Congratulations, buddy. One free 39-hour fishing trip for one guest. Congratulations, Chase. Remember, you got 5 minutes or less to claim your free trip by texting us at the phone number on the screen. Y'all have a good night. Tight lines. Hopefully we'll see you for the supporters after show. Hopefully we'll see you next week for another live stream show. Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Tight lines, y'all. We're out.